Hey guys, I'm Elrond, the first boss, and now we're gonna take a look at my video game collection. So a guy called Robert Eriksson asked me about showing off my video game collection in one or more videos, and I think we'll have to do more than one video, as this will be a maybe too long video, as I want to show off pretty much a lot of stuff. Behind me here I have my big box with Famicom cartridges. I've picked out a bunch of them, and there's 172 in total, and 5 Famicom Disk System games, and I've also got a bunch of boxed games in my shelves here in the back, and as well as some Famicom Disk System boxed games as well. But we're gonna talk about why I started collecting. So basically, Japan got the better games and more games than Europe and America. Of course, there's games exclusive to Europe and America. One I can name in America, and that's Kickmaster. But the games released in Japan sometimes had better audio chips, which wasn't possible because the cartridge slot didn't have the pins for it for some reason. And so I decided to buy a Sharp Twin Famicom, this game, as well as the first Castlevania game, so I could listen to the audios and play through the games, and they're really good games, both of them. I truly hold the Castlevania 3 soundtrack as one of the better ones, or best ones, on the Famicom. Anyways, I want to show you guys a bunch of really good games which I have in my collection. So this is Double Dragon 3, and it's nothing special. It's in US as well. And here we have Goemon 2. This is a game never released in America or Europe. It's pretty fun. You can actually play 2 players in this one as well. Then we have DOROPIE, and this game is, everyone says it's a great Mega Man clone. No, it's not really a Mega Man clone. I mean, it feels like a Mega Man game, but it's not really. You start with all the power-ups, and defeating bosses doesn't grant you any new power-ups, so I feel this game is not quite as good as a Mega Man game, so you could pick it up if you want to, but I say there's better games on the Famicom to play. Here we have King Kong 2. I've shown this on the channel previously. It's very different from the MSX King Kong 2 game, but it's an okay top-down, bash the shit out of the military game. Next up we have Gourdic Gaiden, a game called Guardian Legend here in Europe and US. It's a pretty good game. You can walk around in like sort of Zelda-ish fashion, and then in between stages you have to do a shooting stage. So you turn into a ship, fly around in the galaxy, and then you land back onto, I'm not sure if it's planets or if it's space stations or whatever. And then you turn into a girl and wander around in Zelda fashion, then turn into a ship and do the shooting stage. It's pretty cool. Then we have Romancia, a game by Falcom, one of the earlier ones. It's pretty good. But since it's like an RPG, I think it's quite hard for a guy only knowing Swedish and English, so skip that. RockMan 1 actually fetches a pretty high price these days, especially boxed. Solomon's Key, I love this game when I was a kid. Used to rent it, I never owned it. And here we have Dragon Fighter. This is an awesome game by Natsume, platformer similar to Blue Shadow or Ninja Gaiden or whatever. Really good music. And then we have Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Not much to say about this, pretty good. And here's another game I owned when I was a kid called Trojan. It's okay. And here we have a game called Over Horizon. This is really, really good. I think there might have been a US or PAL release of this game, but I'm not sure. This game actually fetches a pretty high price these days. Sadly, mine is not boxed. Here we have, sadly this is not an original cartridge. This is a reproduction or whatever, a pirate. I got it at a cheap price, as the original Bubble Bobble 2 is very expensive. Then I have Makai-mura, or Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghouls and Ghosts. Really hard game, never finished it, wanna try to. And then we have a hidden gem for the Famicom called Youkai Club. Really good platforming game with pretty crappy graphics, but I love the music. It's a bit obscure and weird. Then we have Bio Senshi Dan. It's pretty cool, sort of feels like Zelda 2 somehow, without the overworld part. It's pretty cool. And then we have Wai Wai World 2, a really good, I would call it a shooter, but it's like shooting plus side-scrolling stages. So it's very similar to, I'd say Gradius or something like that. But you play the characters like Simon Belmont, the little baby here, and I think it's the Contra guy, and Goemon you can play as, and yeah, Getsu Fuuma Den guy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And of course I have a Contra. And then we have a game called Abadox. I think this was released in the US under a different name, but I forgot what it's called. It's a cool shooter. And here we have a game with really good music, but it's sort of a strategy RPG-ish, and it's a lot of text, so it's hard to play for me. But I like the music. And then we have Salamander for the Famicom. It's Life Force here in Europe and in the US. It's a good shooter, and I think it's one of the best shooters, as it got 2-player mode, which Gradius doesn't. Here we have a weird game called Karnov. You're this sort of Russian dude or something like that. And then we have Willow, one of the games I played as a kid. We used to rent it. It's sort of a RPG similar to Zelda. Very good. And then we have Holy Diver, which Dio sings about. Holy Diver! And yeah, it's a decent game, I guess. Could have been better, but pretty good. It's rare, and I think they did a re-release of that game here in the PAL, or actually it's region free, the re-release. And here we have, I forgot what this game is called. I'll throw in the translation of what this game is called later. Yeah. And this one says Quest, but I don't... Conquest of the Crystal Palace, I think it's called. Something else in Japanese as well. It's a decent 2D platformer. Dragon Ninja, sort of a beat 'em up, pretty cool. Tiny Toon 2, the second game using the VRC7 chip. It doesn't use the audio expansions of it, only the graphical capabilities. It's pretty cool. The other game is Lagrange Point. I have it in box up there on my shelves. And here we have, I think this is Twinbee 3 shooter. Here we have Parodius, pretty cool. And here we have a Genshin, I think it's called something, or Hammering Harry 2, very good. Then we have Getsu Fuuma Den, very cool. I'd say it's very similar to Zelda 2, pretty cool. Good music as well, and it's by Konami, so it's expected. And then we have Hinotori by Konami as well, a pretty cool game. Then we have Heavy Barrel, pretty good shooter-ish. And then we have New Ghostbusters 2. This game was never released here. It's really good top-down game. It's sad that you cannot play 2 players in this game, as you're always 2 characters, but the second character is played by the AI. Then we have Hammering Harrier 1, really cool game. I suggest you play a translated version of this game, as it's pretty hilarious. And then we have Spelunker, which I really love the cartridge. It's got sort of a light here, which lights up when you play the game. And on the back you have a little screenshot of the game. Then we have Crisis Force by Konami. Konami are the only company which used to put labels on the top of the cartridges. Then we have Hebereke, or Euphoria. It's pretty good. Then we have Blaster Master, one of my childhood favorite games, and I keep not being able to finishing this game, but I could finish the releases, so that's fine with me. Or not the real releases, the remakes they made for 3DS. I absolutely love that remake. It's one of my favorite remakes ever. Then we have Ninja Gaiden 2. I do not have 1 or 3. I think 2 is very good. I think 3 has the best music in my opinion, but that's that. And here we have Mugen Senshi Valis, so I think this is Valis 1. It's a side-scrolling action game. And here we have Kokoron. It's a pretty cool game made by the same guys who made Mega Man 2. It feels very experimental. And then we have Argos no Senshi, or Ryugar. This game is pretty cool in PAL, or in Europe, as you can't level up enough, so it's very, very hard to defeat the final boss. And if you have done that, then you're one damn good power player. I think I actually did that as a kid, but I have never done it in grown age. And next up we have Space Defense Force, SDF. Very good shooter, only released in Japan. Highly recommend. It's actually by HAL Laboratories. Then we have Magic John by Yaleco. And then we have, I forgot what this game is called. But it's a side-scrolling action game, and it's pretty good. And here we have Spartan X. First Spartan game, or Kung Fu. Pretty good game. And then we have, this is one of the Neketsu games with the River City Ransom guys. This is, I think this is, yeah, you have to do sports and stuff like that. I think it's Brembol? What's it called? No, it's not Brembol, it's called something else. I forgot. Ah, never mind. Turtles 2. It actually is only called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's the second game, the arcade. Goonies 2, one of my favorite games as a kid. I love the exploration and the 3D thing. You had to knock on the wall and it appeared a door in the wall, like in the 3D sections. Pretty funny. And also you could see the Konami man in this game. It's pretty cool. Chip 'n Dale 2, not as good as the first game, but this one is a bit rarer. I think it's much more rarer in the PAL region or Europe region. Here we have Battletoads, very good game, and starting to fetch a pretty hefty price when it's boxed. Next up we have Power Blazer, a really good side-scrolling game. It's called Power Blade in Europe, I think, and Power Blade in US as well. There's some differences with the sprites. You play a very different, like a kid in this game, while in the US and Europe version you play like a muscly big man. And next up we have, I forgot what this game is called.
It's Choyin Sentai Jetman!
But it's basically not Power Rangers, but the equivalent in Japan, and it's a pretty good game. I love this. Between the stages you turn into a giant robot and have to fight the other giant robot, and then it's back to side-scrolling stages. Here we have Final Mission. This game is, I think it's available in US and PAL as well, I'm not sure. I think so. Then we have Kage, one of my absolute favorites for the NES. It has one of the best soundtracks. Probably my favorite soundtrack on the NES, but I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not, maybe. But Blue Shadow, Shadow the Ninja in the US, it's awesome game. Oh, and you can play 2 players from start to finish, co-op. Like one of the best games for that. Then we have Swordmaster. It's a pretty good side-scrolling, what we call it, sort of, it's similar to Troyan. Let's say. Then we have Turtles 1. I hate the water stage. Then we have Gradius 2, pretty good shoot 'em up. I think this was never released in US or Europe. And then we have a pirated copy of Super Contra. This is actually not Contra 2. This is the 3rd Contra game, which has, I think it's top-down stages as well, I'm not sure. It's so-so. It's actually not the same development team. It's got lag and stuff like that, so it's not great. And here we have another pirate game called Time Diver Avenger, and it's actually got another name, Time Diver Eon or something like that. And it's a really good game, never released. So this is like someone took the almost finished game and released it. And finally we have Elrond, the Wizards and Warriors 1. I love the 2nd game, and I love the music in the 1st game. And the 3rd game is pretty good as well. Yeah, so that was a handful of my favorites in this box over here I have of the loose Famicom cartridges. So I thought the next time we could continue with my boxed Famicom games and maybe the Famicom Disk System games as well. It depends on how fast it'll go. Maybe we'll split it up, we'll see. And then we'll continue on my collection over here. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions on my content here, I try to do my best. Please put a comment down below and a like and subscribe. Bye guys!